Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so we are looking at topic 1-3. Really is just a continuation of 1-2. Remember 1-2, we looked at tenths and hundredths. 1-3 is adding in thousandths. So, I'm going to write the word date. You will actually put the date that you are taking the notes. Okay? So, topic 1-3. Okay, so remember, it is a recording, so that means if you need to rewind, you can. Pause, write down, play, pause, right? It's easy. So we have our essential question. Which is, how can a fraction showing thousandths be expressed as a decimal. Okay, so please remember I did ask you guys to make sure your notes look like mine. So that means it's a hanging indent. That means there is nothing right there. Just helps with the organization of your information. So what we're going to do is we're going to first, remember your notes look just like mine, we're going to recreate a little bit of a place value chart. Okay, so that place value chart, we have whole numbers, which I'm just going to label as ones for right now. Okay, then we have the decimal, which you recall, we read it as and. Okay, then we have the tenths position, and we have the hundredths position, and this is what we had for 1-2. Now we're going to add thousandths. Okay, thousandths. Okay, now if you look at the place value chart that is on the other side of your whiteboard, you'll see that it is there. Okay, so if we have a fraction, here's our first example, a fraction of 3/1000ths. Well, please note that there are 3 zeros in that number. Okay, so that tells me I need to have, okay, so first of all, there's no whole number, right? But I'm still going to put that there. I have a decimal. I have 3 zeros here, so my decimal digits need to have 3 behind that decimal. Okay, so when I fill that in, I say, okay, well, the 3 is the thousandth part, so the 3 goes there. Well, you can't leave 2 blanks. You gotta fill in those with those placeholders of 0, and there is not a whole number, so we put a 0 right there. Okay, so you could put it in there to help you for right now. Okay, so let's try another one. Okay, we're gonna go with 33/1000ths. So how would that look as a decimal? Think about what we just did. Think about this chart. If you want to take that and put it in the chart, go for it. So we have 3 zeros in our number of 1000. Okay, so I'm going to give my give myself a place for a whole number and the decimal, and 3 spots to fill. But if you look up here, you can see, I'll get my highlighter, thousandths, which is 1, 2, 3 spaces over. Okay, so now, well, the last digit is a 3, and that digit is a 3. But I can't leave those empty spaces. I have to give the placeholders of 0. Okay, it's just holding the spot. Because we have 1,000 as our denominator, we have to have 3 digits after the decimal in that equivalent decimal. Okay, I'm going to move it up so you won't be able to see this top portion anymore, but that's okay, because if you need that for your notes, you can rewind and see it. Okay, otherwise it's already in your notes. You don't need to see it anymore. Okay, so let's do another one. (90/1000ths). Okay, 90 over 1,000. So once again, we have our 3 zeros, so I know I have 3 spots to fill in after my decimal. There's not a whole number, so I can just go ahead and put that 0 right there because I know there's not a whole number. Now, I'm going to fill it in. It ends with a 0, so my 0 goes in that last spot. And then I fill it in. And I need that placeholder. Now, here's where this is kind of a monkey wrench problem when you're just learning this, okay? So, equivalent decimal to this one, we can drop that 0. So 90 thousandths is equivalent to, I'm going to show you, I'm going to rewrite it here, 90 thousandths is equivalent to, equal to, the same as 9/100ths. And all I did, it's called simplifying. And I know in 4th grade you did some simplification of fractions, and that's where you divide the top and the bottom by the same number. But when they both end in a 0, you just cancel them out. Oh, I don't know if that marker showed. Let me choose a different color. You just cancel them out. And now you can see that it's just 9 over 100, or 900ths. So the equivalent decimal here, to reflect that, to show that, that looks like a 6. It's a 0. To show that, well, to convert the 9/100ths to an equivalent decimal, no whole number, there's only 2 zeros, so it's 2 spots after the decimal. The 9 is what has to end our decimal, so it goes there, and we put a place value. So these are equivalent to each other, just like these are equivalent to each other. It's the same amount. Okay, let us do another sample. Sorry, I keep looking for my marker colors. Okay, I need to move it up. Okay, we have 3/10. So I'm going to pause here. I want you to try without, I want you to pause the video, and I want you to try and put this into decimal form. One zero. Therefore, only one digit after the decimal. There's not a whole number, so I just put that 0. So all that's going over here, this goes there. So 3/10 is the same amount as 0.3. Okay? 3/10 equals 3/10. Okay, we've got one more sample to try. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, remember I did ask you to make sure your notes look like mine. That means I do want those arrows. I do want it to show that you're counting those zeros. And the same here. And circling that 3 and drawing the arrow so you know that that fills in the blank. That's where it's coming from. Okay, so that when you look back at these notes, when it's time to take the test, you'll remember that's how it goes. Okay? All right. Last sample. 5 and 707 1/1000ths. Okay? So how many zeros are in our denominator? So that's how many digits need to come after the decimal. I'm going to put that decimal and put 3 spaces. Now I'm going to look. Do I have a whole number? I didn't in these other ones, but guess what? Remember how I read this? 5 and 707 1/1000ths. That 5 is a whole number. Okay? So it is going to go there. Okay? What goes in those 3 spots? There you go. Okay? So, make sure your notes look like mine and you're ready to practice with me live. And that is the end of 1-3.